Alrighty guys, I have been working on the 440 pretty much all day since I got home from work. It's coming along. I've got all the port work done. I thought I had you guys some footage of what I had going on there, and I lost it. Now, this is the one I repaired the threads on. There's the intake, 80 grit finish. There's the lowers, the uppers. There's the intake. There's the exhaust. Cut combustion chamber, cut base. I set squish to 20 thousandths. Exhaust is at 102. I really don't think I raised them transfers, but maybe a degree. All I was trying to do was clean them up. I raised it, dropped the cylinder, and cut the chamber, and then raised the exhaust up so I could gain some blowdown. And it's probably 17, 18, somewhere in there. I wanted a bit more than that, but I'd either have to cut a lot more out of the chamber and drop a lot more on the base, which I don't want to do on this. It'll be fine. These saws, this one had 15 degrees stock. It was 35 squish, 105 on the exhaust, 120 on the transfers, and 70 on the intake, right from the factory on this cylinder. And then I moved it to 102. Didn't even really touch they're probably still at 120. Well, whatever. Well, probably a little different because I dropped it, but I didn't raise them at all. All I did was clean them up and give them a chamfer. The intake I moved with a stock piston. The intake on this would be roughly 74-ish. Now, what I'm going to show you on the piston, they don't do it much anymore. Years and years ago, like if you were rebuilding your car engine, you didn't have the option of buying pistons. You didn't have the option of buying a camshaft. You knurled your pistons to get them tightened back up in the bore. You cut the ridge off with a ridge reamer in the top of the cylinder, knurled your piston, threw new rings in it, ground your lifters, and then had your camshaft reground. Back in the day, long before you could just go and buy an aftermarket camshaft for your vehicles. So this is a knurled piston. And you're probably wondering why I knurled it. Well, it's the only piston I got sitting around that I could stuff in that bore. That's where I took the rest of the intake. I set the intake to 80 on it with this piston. If I'm not happy with it and it's spitting back too bad, this saw's probably going to get a new piston when I get some money anyway. But this piston come out of a buddy saw, and I put a new one in his, and I needed something to test this mule. And when I put it in the bore, it was really, really sloppy. So I knurled it to tighten up the bore. Now it's nice and good. So that's why I did that. And then you can see, I get the piston straight in there. Anyway, that notch matches the top arch anyway, and that first crack, it's roughly 80 degrees. So yeah, so that's that. The only rings I have, I got a set that are black like this that say R on them, and then I have this set that say highway or HY, which I think these come out of a highway piston. So and if I gotta buy a piston for this saw, I'll probably end up buying a highway pop-up piston for it. And if the pop-up tunks the insert, I'll just notch the piston to clear the insert, or I'll grind the insert. But for a $48 OEM cylinder off eBay, it cleaned up nice now that it's got plug threads for the plug. Just to save time, I'm gonna use this hollow can, and I'm probably just gonna enlarge this hole a little bit more and run this. This was the muffler I was running on the hybrid. I'll just run it on this. But I hope to have this put together tonight, maybe. I don't know. It depends on how tired I get. But so yeah, old school trick. I remember being a little kid. I actually got a machine that put the piston in, and it rocks the piston back and forth and actually knurls it. I chose to knurl this one on the lathe. All I did was hand move the chuck back and forth, and then release the knurler, move it up, check fitment, knurl it some more, and I knurled it right up till I got the tolerance that I wanted. So, yep. Used to do that in claimer motors too that were clapped out, because people just claim them anyway. So, alright, I've blabbered on here enough. You guys take it easy and have a good one.